while we're rearranging the stage for our next session, I will introduce it to you. We have our wonderful president of the Global Forum. It's Anne-Gabrielle Heilbronner. She'll be here in just a second, and she will be talking to Suzanne Malveaux. Suzanne Malveaux is the national correspondent at CNN, and this is a conversation with a leader, and I think we're about ready. Don't go anywhere, please. Come sit down and enjoy our next conversation with a leader. Please welcome Anne-Gabrielle Heilbronner and Suzanne Malveaux.
Good morning. I'm so excited. We might go over time because at the discretion of the president, we welcome Anne-Gabrielle. It is such an amazing experience to be here. This is my first Women's Forum, and this is an extraordinary gathering. And you are at the helm, and this is a new role, and you are personally involved as well. You're a mother of 4, I think, Gen Zers. Are some of your daughters in the audience?
Some are in the audience. I managed to get my daughters to the Women's Forum, not to get my son.
We are still working on him. We're working.
That's our objective for next year.
Tell us about the theme. I know this is very important to you. There's a sense of urgency. There's a sense of need for action. And we are dealing with a world with so many challenges at this time, particularly for women.
Well, that's true. And, you know, I feel that being at the helm of the Women's Forum gives me a responsibility not to just let things go and watch what's happening. I remember this sentence from Viktor Frankl. The last of the human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way. So what I would like to do is take the opportunity of the Women's Forum to defend women's rights wherever they are threatened. We heard about Iran yesterday, Afghanistan, everywhere where women's rights, anyone's rights are in danger. That's for us, and we need to act. Also raise women's voices for equitable change by encouraging each one to accept greater personal responsibility for transforming the world, and encourage interests and career pathways for young women in STEM fields. For me, that's critical. And you were saying, Suzanne, there is this urgent need for action, and that's true. Just look around us. We see this epidemic of discrimination and violence against women and girls in Iran, in Afghanistan. We see a step backwards on reproductive rights in the US. In the US. And the knock-on effects of the war in Ukraine, post-COVID-19, we see women resigning from big companies, and the negative impacts of climate change have never been so critical. So yes, there is an urgent need for action, but there is also an urgent need for a renewed strategy. This is also something we discussed yesterday. These large-scale international forums, like COP27, they may be good at discussing global policy, international cooperation issues, etc., but they have their limits. So, you know, I was also thinking these days whether we are not too much relying on, like, group thinking and not enough on our individual personal responsibility to act. And I was asking myself, should I do more? Could I do more? And then I have this, like, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. And it's not realistic. You know, I'm not going to change the world. Even all of you in this room with me, we are not going to change the world. But maybe there is something we can do. There is a contribution we can bring to create a better world. And here come the youth. You were talking about the children. We have the youth initiative of the Women's Forum. We have our rising talent. We have our children. And they look at us and they ask, come on, what have you done? What are you doing? So here I think, let's move.
So we have an amazing group of women who've been gathered here. This is a very special occasion. We can feel the energy and the excitement as people take away from each other in these sessions. And it is unique that you have entrepreneurs, you have immigrants and refugees and politicians and policymakers. How do we use each other during this time, this unique moment that we have together to inspire, to really kind of disrupt, in a way, our lives and make the change that you're talking about?
First, I'm very glad that you're sensitive to this positive atmosphere and energy, because you were saying a bit earlier that's your first Women's Forum. And this is what I personally like about the Women's Forum. I'm very glad that you like it too. This kind of, friendship, positive energy, positive mindset, and sometimes you wonder where it comes from. And probably it comes from the fact that we are a majority of women, which is a big difference in comparison to our working life. Maybe because, as you were saying, we are from diverse backgrounds. So we cannot just stay in our comfort zone. We have to open to each other. We are not afraid of sharing our emotions and of being touched by others. We are in the perfect condition, actually, to bring energy, to take action. This is a moment where we work and tackle the biggest issues that we are concerned about but have never enough time to work on or think about in our daily life. And we have, these values, shared values.
Yes.
We believe in freedom. We believe in equality. We believe in diversity. We believe in optimism, ability to learn, trust. So we are in the perfect condition to do something. So now, that was your question, huh? What are we going to do?
Well, you and I talked back in the green room a bit about the fact that women put restraints on themselves when they're in a position where they're not part of the majority, they're part of the minority. It takes more courage and more effort, but there's a hesitation and even sometimes the imposter syndrome for even the best of us in this world. How do we get over that? How do you encourage people to understand their power, their potential?
First thing is just to open your eyes and realize that, yes, we are holding ourselves back. Who has never suffered from the imposter syndrome in this room? Please raise your hand. Okay.
Everyone has.
Okay. So now that's the last day for you guys. You're not imposters. We're not imposters.
There you go.
So, first thing is stop being your own worst enemies. Come on. That's ridiculous, okay? And someone was talking yesterday about, when you are on an airplane, you put your mask first and then you help others. So guess what? Women need to be more effective advocates for them before they advocate for others. And there is no need to wait, because waiting won't bring anything. The world is ours for a moment, our life, and it's just up to us to decide what we want to do with it. What else can I say?
So make some news for us, a little breaking news, if you will. The forum, the Women's Forum, the global meeting here in beautiful Paris. Is there possibly a potential of having it somewhere else, maybe United States? I don't know. Are we looking at something different on the horizon?
Breaking news. We'll be in Washington, end of March. Thank you. But you should thank the team, because it's not just me. It's an amazing team that is beyond all of this. And if I can take this opportunity to say just to them how much I love them, how much I thank them for what they are doing for women, you can.
That's very exciting. That's very exciting. Finally, something else that you and I were discussing before is really the fact that we all go home and we are problem solvers in our own way, whether it's our family, negotiating, fighting kids, or perhaps a pay raise, or just getting groceries, or bigger platforms. And there's a need for us potentially to think about ourselves in a different way, that we come here and we haven't recognized yet that we are already part of the solution. We are already doing the job that we're encouraging each other to do on a grander scale. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, of course. Thank you for bringing this up, Suzanne. I think it's really very simple and very true. We have a lot to do each day. And we have problems coming and coming and coming. It's the plumber, it's the children, it's the work, it's this meeting, it's whatever. And we are like running everywhere, okay? Instead of looking at this like, wow, it's too much, why don't we take pride in all of what we are accomplishing each day? This should reinforce us. And, you know, our self-confidence. We are problem solvers. We are trouble solvers. We fix trouble all the time. So, here we are, and we are legitimate. We have a voice, we have an expertise, and this is a super valuable expertise, problem solver. So this is what I think we should carry with us. And when we leave this Women's Forum, if there is one thing we should remember, I think, is all of this community of people, we are all problem solvers. So let's solve the problems.
I think that's an excellent message, an excellent way to end this very brief discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was such an amazing forum. Thank you. Thank you all.
Bravo. Thank you so much, Anne-Gabrielle.
inspiring.
Thank you.
So
Suzanne,
inspiring.
thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
What a pleasure to have you both in that wonderful conversation.